Morning everybody, how you doing? Hope you're all festively plump. Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I am Sean Butler. Bugsy Malone's just up in front. I hope you're all happy and healthy, guys, doing the things that you love, especially at this time of year, with the people that you love doing them with. I apologise I didn't get a Christmas video out yesterday. I did intend to do something, but then best laid plans went astray when someone cracked open a bottle of Prosecco at breakfast. And that was it, really. So I'm also not really going to do it today, other than to say I hope that you guys are all absolutely smashing through your Christmas stuff and you've had a wonderful time with your friends and family and people that are close to you. And I will put out a video over the next few days that kind of looks back on the year, because it's been quite an incredible year, really. Hi guys, morning. In terms of the channel's growth, I think we started the year on like 5,000 subscribers or something, and we're now up to nearly 21. So, you know, amazing growth. But in terms of me personally, like the health scares I had halfway through the year and the support you guys showed, just phenomenal. So I'll never forget and be able to truly show my appreciation for what you did there. But let's keep going and look forward to 2024 and the madness that's going to ensue in the January transfer window. And guys, that's where I'm going to take the video for the next 10 minutes, because it is Boxing Day. We're back to football. I think there's 5 games on today, starting at 12:30, then a bunch at 3 o'clock, right there, and then more at 5:30 and 8 o'clock this evening. A crazy day of football. We've got Brighton on Thursday away. I'm going to that game. Can't wait for that. First time at the Amex. So we've got lots of football to talk about, but we've got some transfer news, views and clues to get through as well, guys. And they're 2 new names that Tottenham haven't been linked with thus far. One of them is a player that's very much on everyone's lips at the moment because of his scintillating form for Bournemouth, and that is DOMINIC SOLANKE. 18 goals, 18 games played, 11 goals in the Premier League this season. Incredible start for a team that has started to believe in themselves and kind of figure out some lovely football and some great form, which is wonderful to see. And DOMINIC SOLANKE, look, English international, counts as homegrown. I don't personally believe that Bournemouth would part ways with him in January. I think it would take a monumental, a monstrous bid to get him. And I'm not entirely sure if the sample size of Solanke at this level is big enough for us to kind of wet our beaks in. I like him as a player. I really do like him as a player. He's 26. This is by far his best season. And look, he's playing for a team where, you know, most of the time Bournemouth are going to struggle to be the more dominant side, and so to get goals in that environment is, you know, impressive. Jamie O'Hara from TalkSport and Tottenham, ex-Tottenham fame, said on his show he'd love to see him at Tottenham. He think he would fit the Tottenham system, and I agree with him. I do think he would fit the Tottenham system. I think in game week 1 and game week 5 he was the fastest player registered in the Premier League. He's got speed, he's got pace. He's got great vision, footballing IQ, he can finish. He's a really talented player, but you know, he's 26 years old, not that that's a problem, but he's played I think 120 games for Bournemouth, maybe 110 games, something like that, and I think he's got 30 goal contributions, about 20 goals and 10 assists, so thus far it's about a 1 in 5 goal ratio and a 1 in 10 assist ratio, which isn't spectacular. And again, you have to bake into the argument, as I said already, the environment in which he's trying to score. Bournemouth traditionally are always, in the Premier League at least, are going to have been, you know, the weaker side, backs against the wall for lots of the games. So it's an unknown, but I guess it's a fairly easy presumption to make that if you put him into a team where opportunities are going to thrive and flourish, then he will thrive and flourish as well. And I don't hate the idea at all, by the way. Not at all. I just think that it's going to cost a fortune to get him in January. I don't even think that they'd probably entertain it because of the difficulty of doing the business to replace the players. And Bournemouth are onto a good thing right now. They're really kicking on in a nice way. So maybe it's a summer thing. And I think even then it would take 80 million, 90 million quid probably to try and get someone, maybe not that much, maybe 80 million quid, 70, 80 million quid to get him. And I just don't know whether or not Tottenham want to go down that path. When you're looking at homegrown players, in my opinion, we've spoken about the need to improve the homegrown quota on our club, the quality of them. And I think that you're always going to pay the English tax. And so if you're trying to combine homegrown English tax with trying to improve in a position that, generally speaking, just generally right now around Europe has such high demand and short supply, then you're going to end up massively overpaying for a striker who happens to be homegrown. Again, maybe Ivan Toney is slightly different because of his contract situation, but we'll see. Like, I'm more than happy to entertain the conversation. I just don't really see it happening. But that's where the links have gone this morning. And I think it just kind of makes sense. He hit a hat-trick last week, and everyone's looking for strikers. Everyone's looking to improve their homegrown. Bang, bang, bang. This follows that, and that's where the story comes from. I'd be surprised, and I hope that Tottenham are going to be looking to do a striker deal in January. And with that being said, I'd be surprised if DOMINIC SOLANKE is the option. But that is the story, and I bring it to you. Let me know your thoughts, guys. If DOMINIC SOLANKE is a player that excites you in a Tottenham shirt, like I say, I think he's a really good player. I'd like to see him possibly just continue his form this season, just to make sure that it's not just a purple patch. But for sure, he's a wonderful player. He's been in my FPL team for the vast majority of this season, so done very well for me. The other story, guys, that I wanted to bring to you is another new name, and he plays for Valencia, plays at the Mestalla Stadium, and that is YAREK Gasiorowski. I think I'm saying his last name correctly. I think he's known as Yarek rather than Gasiorowski. He's Spanish and Polish. He's 18 years old. He's just turned 18 years old, and he is turning a lot of heads in his 7 appearances that he's put in for Valencia this season. He's either played as a left back or as a centre back. He's left-footed. He can play, according to Transfer Market, on the right side of the defence as well, but he's mainly a left-footed, left-sided centre back, although has been shoehorned into the left back role at Valencia. Now, obviously, I wasn't too familiar with him. In fact, I wasn't familiar with him at all. So I've gone through his Transfer Market, his FB refs. I've gone through his highlights and lowlights and everything reels on the Y-Scout tool, and zoned in on some of the supposed strengths that he has according to scout reports. And I'll tell you what, he's a really interesting player. Now, what I've also gone and done is spoken to a really good friend of mine, John, who is very, very well educated in the football world, and he lives out in Valencia and goes to watch Valencia a lot. And I asked him what he thinks about this kid. And essentially, he kind of gave me the same, hi mate, how you doing? He gave me the same, hi Michaela. He gave me the same sort of breakdown as what I kind of gathered, sort of looking into him. He's 6'3", he's 1.90 m tall, very, very tall. He's quite skinny for a tall guy. He's not big and strong and like a Radu Dragusin type. He certainly hasn't got that physicality. But what he does have is a lot of pace, a lot of acceleration. He's agile. He has a nice weight of pass on him. He has the ability to make it look like he's slowing the play down when he makes his decisions. He doesn't look rushed. He looks almost quite languid with his decision making on the ball. But when he hasn't got the ball, he's got this pace. What I would say, the absolute takeaway about this kid is his positional sense is phenomenal. In all of the highlights I was looking at, he seems to be in the right place at the right time to just make the defensive decision that he has to take fairly seamless. And that is something that you can learn. It's something you can improve on, but it's also something that, as someone so young, is very much advanced and is very impressive. As I say, he just seems to know where the ball's going to be before it gets there, and gets himself in the right place to make sure that he's in the way of the attacker. And look, at the end of the day, he plays for a Valencia team who, let's be honest, I don't know, the polite way of saying that about their football style is it's conservative, it's pragmatic. I think other people would call it very boring. Look, Valencia don't score a lot of goals, but they don't concede a lot of goals either. There's a lot of 0-0s and 1-0s and that kind of output or outcomes in their games. It's not the most attractive football. But again, what I would say about him is that on that basis, if he's managed to get into a team that is very defensively minded and very resolute in what they do in that department, then he clearly, at someone so young, has bags of understanding of the game to do what a defender is supposed to do. And that's the most important thing. You know, a lot of people sort of talk about, like, these days you defend from the, and I'm an advocate of this, that you do defend from the front and you attack from the back, and these days defenders have to be a little bit of everything. They have to be able to play the ball, they have to be able to do, you know, passing, one touch, they have to carry the ball progressively, move it forward, as well as not overlooking their defensive responsibilities. And I think this guy, from what I can see, is a bit of an old school defender. He's certainly no slouch on the ball. He can ping the ball around, but like I say, he looks kind of very comfortable on the ball. But that's not what stood out about him for me. It was more around his positional sense and his IQ when it comes to defensive responsibilities. But he has the pace to play in that role, and that's again something else I want to remind people of. Why I think that Lloyd Kelly isn't necessarily a bad idea is because, at least until recently, Bournemouth have naturally been on the receiving end of most of the pressure during some of the games in the Premier League, and so you have a player that is, you know, very fast, very agile, but ultimately gets sort of stuck in and kind of isn't allowed to spread their wings and fly and show what they can do with their physical traits that they don't need to show all the time. And I feel like this guy, Yarek, is possibly something similar. I think that he has all the pace, he has that kind of flair, he has that ability to get in and get behind. And so I do think the transition from a more pragmatic, conservative style of football into a more, you know, higher press, high line version of itself, I don't think will be naturally that difficult. It might be a learning curve for him, but of course he has plenty of time on his side. But in terms of, can he handle the responsibilities of a high line? I think he absolutely can. He understands how to defend, and he has the pace to get himself out of trouble when those things pop up. So listen, I don't know if the links are materially strong and relevant and things we need to worry about, but if they are true, it goes to show that Tottenham, again, are looking to kind of try and acquire as much of the strong young talent that's available and affordable that's going on around European football and elsewhere at the moment. And for me, it's okay. I don't want him to be the number one choice. I don't want him to come in ahead of a Dragusin or a Todibo or anyone like that. But if we're keeping one eye on the present, one eye on the future, then this guy, bring him in, add him to the ranks if necessary. As long as, like I say, it doesn't take away from the budget that's precious and crucial to do what we need to do right now, because I'm not entirely sure he is necessarily going to come in and compete. Maybe he would be brought in as a backup to Destiny Udogie and to whoever might come in, a Mickey van der Ven. But we have that additional strength coming in a Todibo. It's the first I've heard of the story, guys. I thought I'd bring it to your attention just for what it's worth. He is valued at £10 million on transfer market. So if that was to happen in January, maybe it might be a buy with a loan back. I'm not sure, not entirely sure, but let's keep an eye on it. If you know about this guy more than I do, then let me know. But YAREK Gasiorowski is where the links are going this morning, alongside the obvious link that's a bit lazy journalism in my opinion of DOMINIC SOLANKE. Let me know, guys, either of those guys tickle your taste buds? Are they either of those sort of players, the sort of players that you want to see coming to Tottenham to take us to the next level? I'll leave it there, guys. Keep an eye out for more videos coming over the next day or two, and I will be doing also an end of the year, a big fat Tottenham quiz of the year, because one of my Christmas presents was a giant book of Tottenham quizzes. So look out for that as well. I'm going to try and get some of the guys from the community on to participate, and should be a good show. Like, subscribe and comment, guys. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.